Hello, welcome back to the channel, and as we are now a 12th of the way through 2025 and we're into February, it's time to look back at the January stats and compare it to the two previous Januaries since I've had my solar panels and battery installation. So before I go on, please hit the subscribe button, it massively helps out the channel. And also before I go on, I want to say a massive thank you for those who've been using my Octopus referral heat pump code, and also just my general Octopus referral code if you want to move to Octopus as your energy supplier, and they should be going along the bottom of the screen now if you are also interested in switching. Okay, so just a bit about what's I've got as my setup. So I haven't got the heat pump yet, that's arriving in April. So I've still currently got a gas boiler and a gas hob. But on my roof I have 12 Q-cell 385 watt panels, which totals a peak of 4.65 kilowatts. That goes down into a Solis 5 kilowatt hybrid inverter. I've currently got a Pure Drive 5 kilowatt hour battery, but that's going to probably be expanded up with some Duracell batteries to take me up to 20 kilowatt hours after the heat pump's installed. And the rest of the load goes into the house as usual. This is a 3-bedroom semi-detached house from the 1935. It's in Swansea, it's on top of a hill, and the roof is perfectly south-facing. And there's 2 of us living in the house. So our consumption, so the total electricity consumption for January was 204.54 kilowatt hours. And our total generation from our roof was 184.3 kilowatt hours, and you can see from this graph that there are some days where we were in the mid-teens for generation, and on the worst days we had barely any generation at all. So because I've also got an EV, I am on Octopus Intelligent Go, which means I get 6 hours of electricity between 11:30 at night and 5:30 in the morning, which is 7p per kilowatt hour of import, and no matter what time I export it pays 15p. And I've also found, because I only use a granny charger for my EV, that sometimes if I plug it in early, about 9 o'clock in the evening, the car will automatically start charging then, and Octopus actually give me 7p per kilowatt hour for an extended time. So that's my strategy, that I don't charge at home very often, because I've got free charging elsewhere. But when I do charge at home, and I've charged at home a couple of times over January, we've put 25 kilowatt hours into the car through January, and that's cost us about £1.75, but I've not included that in any of the figures I'm showing today. And also what I'm showing today is no standing charges. So as I say, we've generated 184 kilowatt hours, so a little bit less than our overall consumption for the month. But our actual main strategy is to import during the night to charge up the battery, and that's when we run the washing machine and the dishwasher, and sometimes we have the slow cooker one overnight as well, and then export most of the excess during the day. So we've actually imported 154.72 kilowatt hours, but very little of that has actually been on the peak rate. So we've actually spent on our import, so on that 154 kilowatt hours, we've only spent £13.19 on our import. Therefore, we have saved, and assuming that we were on the price cap of about 24.9p, we would have given Octopus, or whatever energy supplier, basically £51. So that means we have saved £37.66 this January. In addition to that, we have exported quite a lot of our energy in the region. Actually, I don't know exactly how much I've exported, can't do that maths off the top of my head, but the money we've had in through SEG has been £18 and 30 and 83 pence. So if I just do that on the calculator quickly, if I do the £18 and 38 pence and we divide that by the 0.05, one per sec, divide that by 0.15, it means we've exported 125 kilowatt hours back to the grid out of that 186 we generated. So we've used about 50 kilowatt hours ourselves, and there's a few little losses there if you're wondering why the numbers don't quite add up perfectly. So if we just have a quick look at this graph, this is just in green is how much we saved, so that's the £37.66. The red is what we sent to Octopus, which is the £13 and 19 pence, and the blue is what we've received in SEG, which is £18 and 83 pence. So we've actually got a surplus of £5, which can go towards the stand-in charge. This means that if we add the amount we've made in SEG to the amount we've saved, that means that our payback on our solar panels for this month has been £56 and 49 pence. And if we compare that to previous years in this graph, you can see that this January is actually the best January we've had. And that's because in the January of 2023, the colours aren't quite right on this graph from the... oh no, they are right. So in the January of 2023, we only had a SEG rate of 5p per kilowatt hour, so that's where most of our money's come from. And last year, the rest comes from the saving. So we did have a 15p SEG rate last year, but the rest of the extra money we made this year is from having that savings, because last year we were on a standard tariff paying 20p per kilowatt hour. Because now we import overnight, we're making that overall saving. And if we want to compare just the generation figures, that's what this graph shows. So you can see it's actually fairly similar to last year, so nowhere near as good as the January of 2023, where we had a total generation of 213 kilowatt hours, so we are about 25% down, no, not quite 25%, 12% down on that. But compared to last year, when we generated 195 compared to the 184 this year, we're only about 10 kilowatt hours down, which is just yearly variation, which is quite good. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in another video very soon. And please comment below with your own solar generation as well.